All right, bunch of smoke around the Melo ball. Maybe getting traded, maybe not getting traded. Someone said the Melo might get traded. The Melo put a clown emoji on their tweet, whatever it was. Melo said, "You're a fucking clown, bro. I'm not getting traded." But players have said that before, and then the next day they're getting traded, and they say, "Fuck you, Shams Charania. What do you know?" And then he knows more than the players a lot of the time. It wasn't Shams Charania, it was Jake Fisher that had reported on this, but Jake Fisher's a pretty well-known NBA insider, and I don't think he's gonna throw shit out there that doesn't have some validity to it. But basically, Hornets may not want to trade LaMelo Ball, but Colin Knippel has given them a path to consider moving on. Colin Knippel has played very well so far this season. He's averaging 18 points, 3 assists, and 6 rebounds. His shooting splits 47%, 40% from 3, and 88% from the free throw line. So Colin Knippel kind of seems like a 50, 40, 90 guy in the making, but he's still a rookie. But yes, he has looked good so far. Them them trading LaMelo Ball and keeping Colin Knippel wouldn't solve their point guard issue. It's not really an issue right now. LaMelo Ball is a very good point guard. He can be a bit immature and make some bad decisions at times, but he plays for Charlotte, so it's not like he's on Miami or San Antonio or Golden State and he's just out there being a locker room cancer and this guy's fucking uncoachable. I don't think that about LaMelo Ball. I think he is, or at least can be, a very coachable player, but you look around at Charlotte and you just see a dysfunctional franchise all around you and you think to yourself, I'm just gonna go ball and have some fun. I'm gonna be entertaining and sell some tickets and make my money. And that's all good. I don't blame LaMelo Ball for that, but he's just in a shitty situation. They can't build a great team around him. Kind of says right down here, LaMelo Ball. Latest comes out of Charlotte, where LaMelo Ball is reportedly open to being traded from the Hornets. All-Star guard shared his thoughts with a brief but effective social media post. Again, he put the clown emoji on Jake Fisher's tweet. So he's basically saying, Jake Fisher, you're a clown. I don't want to be traded. Or maybe he's just trying to make people not talk about it. But Jake Fisher's a well-known insider. Like I said before, he's not just throwing shit at the wall that has no validity to it. He didn't just say that without talking to people inside the Hornets organization. Maybe the Hornets are planning to trade for LaMelo Ball, and he doesn't even know about it. A lot of the time, these insiders, especially Shams Charania, there's only one Shams Charania, so Jake Fisher isn't Shams, to be fair, but I've heard plenty of times where a player gets traded and Shams Charania was reporting on it 1 or 2 days ahead, and then some shit like this with LaMelo. Let's say Shams was saying, "Oh, there's rumors LaMelo's going to be traded." He puts a clown emoji on Shams Charania's post. I've seen stuff happen like that with Shams before, and the player's getting traded the next day. So some of these insiders, they know things before the players even know them. If I'm the Charlotte Hornets, I don't feel like I have to share everything with LaMelo Ball. I don't feel like he's necessarily cemented into the Hornets franchise. I do think they would trade him. Like I was saying before, though, Colin Knippel looks really good. They have Brandon Miller out there, Miles Bridges. It's saying here they're waiting for their core players to get healthy before making any moves, as they have yet to truly see what Ball, Brandon Miller, and Miles Bridges can do out there all together. Imagine you have those guys now. Colin Knippel is in there in the mix. They have pretty decent assortment of talent on the team. But maybe it's time to shake things up a little bit. Again, trading LaMelo Ball doesn't address their need for a point guard if they did trade him. I've heard some packages with Toronto, or at least people mentioning that, where they trade for Emmanuel Quickly, maybe another guy, and some first-round draft picks. Because I do think LaMelo would have a pretty high trade value on the market. You're at least going to get a decent player or two and some first-round picks for him if they did trade him. But again, LaMelo's injured a lot. Bridges, Brandon Miller, they can't all stay healthy at the same time. Like he was saying, for us to see how they all look out there together. They got Con Knippel number 4, though. Again, Con's averaging the 18 points, 6 rebounds, the 3 assists out there. So he's been playing well. Only 3 assists, though. It's not like he would answer their need for playmaking if they did trade Lamelo Ball. Saying here, opponents are trying to take away Concanippo's three-point shot, but he can finish well at the rim also. Concanippo is 6'7", so he can do a lot of stuff out there. He's not a great playmaker at this point in his career. Lamelo is way better at that. Lamelo is one of the best playmakers, one of the best passers in the NBA, so Lamelo does have him there. Saying Canepo has proven to be more than a solid role player, something he might only become if the Hornets enter a full rebuild. Um, yeah, I don't know about Canepo. I think he looks good out there. I don't think he's really someone to build your whole franchise around. I wouldn't see him and think, fuck yeah, we got to get rid of LaMelo Ball so Concanipple can get a chance to shine out there. I don't so much think that. But I see what they're saying. You have Concanipple, Miles Bridges, you have Brandon Miller. Those are all three really solid players. So, if they're able to trade LaMelo, get like an Emmanuel quickly, at least a solid point guard back just for the immediate future, and then get two. If they get like 3 first rounders, I think that would be pretty good to get back Emmanuel quickly, 3 first rounders, maybe one other player from Toronto. I try to get who is it? Colin Murray Boyles. He looks really good. I try to get him quickly, maybe 2 or 3 first round picks. And if I was the Hornets, and I can get that back, I'd say this is probably worth trading LaMelo for, especially with his injury concerns. They had something in here. He's only played 20 more games than Zion Williamson. They've been in the league the exact same amount of times. It was saying in the article, people look at yeah, it's right here. For as brilliant as LaMelo has been offensively, he's only played 20 more games than Zion Williamson over their careers. But I agree with this right here. Those two players are viewed in a far different light when talking about their injuries. Zion is seen as a walking red flag with his inability to stay on the court, while Ball is considered someone with upside who can maybe break out of his bad habits if only he were in a better organization. I do agree with that. I think LaMelo has some bad habits. He's been in a losing organization for I think 5 years now that he's been in Charlotte, so it's kind of hard to break out of those bad habits. That's why I personally kind of want to see LaMelo Ball get traded to a better team and really showcase his skills, hopefully get next to a good coach. I think LaMelo is coachable, but when you look around at the dysfunction in Charlotte, it's hard to go to your job and know you don't have a good boss around you. You don't have a good he has a decent team around him, but everything's dysfunctional. You don't have necessarily a great future in Charlotte as far as contending in the playoffs. So I don't know where LaMelo's mind is at. Maybe he's fine with just making money, making a lot of highlight plays, and he's cool with being in Charlotte. But personally, I'd like to see him go to like a playoff level team. I think he can be a really good player on a playoff level team and get them to another level. But right here, 2021 season, he played 51 games, 75 the next season, so that was good. Then 36, 22, 47. With Zion, he doesn't take care of his body. He just lets himself balloon up. He was like 300 pounds, I think, just last season. They put weight clauses into his contract, so in order to get paid, it's like 40%, 60%, 80% of his salary if he plays 41 games, 51 games, 61 games. Then he has clauses for his body fat percentage, all sorts of things. So I don't see LaMelo like I see Zion as far as Zion's work ethic. I don't know if either guy really loves basketball, to be honest with you, but either way, whatever it comes down to, these past 3 years, 36 games, 22 games, 47 games. I don't think LaMelo is trying to get hurt, of course, but, he hasn't shown to be a very durable player so far. In this season, that 2022 season, LaMelo Ball shot 47% from the field that season. He was 39% from three that season, and those were his career highs as far as field goal shooting and three-point percentage goes. This season so far, he's only played, I want to say like 9 games. LaMelo's missed some games, but he's 39% from the field, 30% from three, and 86% from the free throw line. That's not the real LaMelo Ball. He's not going to shoot 39% from the field and 30% from three. But like I said, that 22 season, that was 4 years ago now. And that season, that's when he had 44% from the field and 39% from three. But even 44% from the field for a point guard, it's really bad efficiency. And that was the best the best percentage he's ever shot from the field, and that was 4 years ago. Where with Colin Kneppel, again, he has 18 points, 3 assists, 6 rebounds. He's played 14 games so far this season. He's 47% from the field. He's 40% from three and 88% from the free throw line. So again, Colin Kneppel looks like a 50, 40, 90 guy in the making. He is 6'7". It's not like he's a small player out there. And I can see the Hornets kind of how they're thinking about this. You know, you have Colin Kneppel, Brandon Miller, you have Bridges out there, and like I said earlier in the video, if you can trade LaMelo Ball, get an Emmanuel quickly, a decent point guard for the time being, and get back like 2 or 3 first-round draft picks. I want to say Kneppel is 20 years old. Brandon Miller, maybe he's 22, 23. Let's see how old is Miller. Basically, the point is, if you can get 2 or 3 first-round draft picks, that might fit your timeline better, than having LaMelo Ball. Because LaMelo, I want to say he's 24 now, so it's not like he's an older man. Brandon Miller is not 35. That's like a musician. Brandon Miller, Hornets. If they can get some of those first-round draft picks, it might fit better with their timeline. Where is this man's age? I want to say he's maybe 23 right now for Brandon Miller. But again, if they can get rid of LaMelo, get maybe 2 or 3 first-round draft picks, you select those first-round picks in these next 2 or 3 years. Yeah, he's only 22, so Brandon Miller's still young. LaMelo Ball, I want to say, I'm pretty sure he's turning 24. So it's not like LaMelo's old either. But if you could have LaMelo, yeah, he just turned 24 pretty recently. But if you could build around a 20-year-old Colin Kneppel, 22-year-old Brandon Miller, Bridges is maybe 25 or so, I want to say. So if you get rid of LaMelo, get like 3 first-round draft picks and a decent point guard. And I'm not saying that would for sure be the right move to make, but I can see the Hornets kind of thinking about things and trying to decide which way they want to go, because I think LaMelo Ball can be a good player on a perennial playoff team, but I don't think he can do it in Charlotte with just this shitty dysfunctional organization around him, to be totally honest. Please like and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 7 million subscribers. Let me know what you think about LaMelo Ball. Again, I think he can be a really impactful point guard on a perennial playoff team, but I don't think Charlotte's ever going to build that team around him. They've tried to do it for the past 2 or 3 years. Just no success. Now they have some decent talent around LaMelo Ball, but he could get on the fast path, honestly, get traded to a decent playoff level team. You can help that team get to another level, and then the Hornets can set themselves up to be more successful in these next 3 or 4 years by acquiring some draft picks. But let me know what you think. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.